Where we going?
Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room Podcast. This is going to be our final mock draft of the draft cycle. Make sure you guys like the video right now. Share it. Leave a comment as you watch the video on any draft picks we've made. So keep in mind, as we make the draft picks, to do that. Follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen. This is the last draft or the last mock draft before the actual draft on Wednesday. When you guys be watching it, it will be Tuesday, so one day before the draft. So we'll be back immediately after the draft. We might live stream during the draft. Hopefully, I don't know. With instant reactions, grades, winners and losers, all that type of stuff. We're gonna be with the draft coverage immediately after the draft. So if you like the NBA draft and NBA basketball, stay tuned for that. But this is our last one. We're gonna get straight into it. Wow, never mind. There you go. I got the first overall pick, and I mean, not much needed to really be said for this one. The Mavericks have had their pick since the draft lottery like 6 weeks ago. So with the first overall pick, the Mavericks are going to select Cooper Flagg. He's been the best player since he stepped foot in college. He's been the best player for like 2 years now in his class. A do-it-all forward that really improved his shooting, his handle, and really somehow exceeded expectations in his freshman year. Was arguably the best player in the country. So it's a no-brainer for his first overall pick. A franchise-changing talent, in my opinion, and a really good like consolation prize for losing Luka, if I do say so myself, for the Mavericks. So I don't know if there's much to talk about with the first pick, but yeah, that's Cooper Flagg, number one.
I borderline think whether it's like if you agree or disagree, I feel like the top 3 picks, according to odds or whatever, I think are almost stamped. I'll say almost. I feel like the top 3 are kind of like the teams supposedly know who they're picking. I guess if everything stays true, but yeah, obviously with Cooper, no words.
All right, next pick up.
It's me. Yeah, this chalk too. Second pick of the 2025 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Dylan Harper. There was some buzz that he didn't want to, or he didn't kind of like the idea of playing in San Antonio, just because they have, I guess, their backcourt is kind of crowded. I guess there's a Fox deal incoming, so he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. But I wouldn't want that to discourage me. If anything, he could play alongside Fox. He got some size. He could play the 2. He's much more of a 2 than a 1 to me anyway. So I think that's be a fine fit. And he matches the timeline with Wemby. It's not much to talk about it. Dynamic handle, get to the rim, playmaker a little bit. Has the ability to be a solid defender. Good on catch and shoot, or decent on catch and shoot threes. I think it was like 37%. So he can't play all ball. So there's not much to really worry about.
Yeah, I mean, people question the fit with this pick. I think that they should just take the best talent available. They weren't supposed to be at the number 2 overall pick. So when you have the luxury, just take the best talent available, figure it out later. It is kind of tricky because they got the Fox extension coming up. I think you would stay in the Fox, you select Dylan, and then have that be your backcourt in the future, because I do think they can work together, because I think Dylan is a good enough off-ball player and spot-up shooter to make this work. And then just bring Castle off the bench. Hopefully his jump shot improves. And if it does, Castle is more of a small forward. He's not a guard. So just hopefully his three-point percentage can improve. Then he can play in the starting lineup. Then you can have that 3 as a starting lineup with a lot of passing and playmaking. And if he can become a better shooter, you can start him. If not, just bring him off the bench, run some bench lineups, that type of stuff, or just trade him while the grease is still hot. But please, Max. What's funny?
At number 3, the Philadelphia 76ers will go with VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. I think as the draft process has gone along, I think that, odds on, he is the favorite currently to go to Philly. And I think they're obviously looking at the fit alongside Tyrese Maxey as kind of just a better complementary piece, a defensive, super athletic wing to complement Tyrese Maxey. To be honest, I think in a perfect world, Jared McCain is your 6th man. I think Jared McCain is perfect running that bench unit if he develops. I think that he's a good spark off the bench, and I don't like how Tyrese and Jared look side by side. If Philly does stay with 3, even if they drop down to 5 at the same time, if that trade with Utah ends up actually going through or they actually work that out, I could see a world where VJ still falls down to Philly at 5. But I think at the end of the day, fit-wise, he fits better alongside Tyrese. I like Trey Johnson here too, strictly on the offensive upside. If you kind of blow it up, I think you can still get good offensive output with Trey Johnson. I don't know if VJ is going to be as good of an initiator on day 1, day 2. So I think, though, he'll be able to work with Joel Embiid, Jerry McCain, Tyrese Maxey, the guys there very, very well.
I'm cool with the
All
pick.
right, yeah.
I like DJ.
I do too. I think the Sixers are in need of some athleticism. I think him and like Maxey is an interesting like backcourt duo. I think VJ has a pretty high floor for me. I think he's gonna be able to create events on defense, offense rebound, get on transition, knock down spot up threes. It's just if the handle is gonna improve, is if the touch around the rim is going to improve. He really needs to work on his footwork when he drives. He needs to work on a lot, but I think his baseline is pretty good, which is why he is slated to go in the top 3. It's back with me at number 4. Okay, so just looking at the board here, with the 4th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets are going to my bad. With the 4th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets are going to select Khan Knuppel. I think he slots in really nicely next to Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball. Charles Lee, who is their head coach, he loves shooting threes. Both of their players, Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, are high volume 3-point shooters. That's the offensive identity he wants on his team. Obviously, that trio is not the best defensively, but they will be very tantalizing offensively with the level of shooting they have. And then Khan can be a secondary ball handler to facilitate for the players, attack closeouts because of his shooting volume. He competes on defense as well. He would be one of the best shooters in the league, I believe. And this would be one of the best top 3 offensive trios in the league going forward because of Charles Lee's preferred play style and because Khan is a high field, great decision maker, high level processor. I think this definitely can work offensively. LaMelo and Brandon Miller will have to buy in more on the defense end. But offensively, this could be very, very dangerous going forward. I thought about Common for like a half a second. I mean, I think that would be also a great pick for them. But Khan is the 4th player on my board, so that's why I went to with Khan right here. That's pretty much it.
Cute. Do you have any thoughts? No.
No. I'm cool with Khan. He's a plug and play guy. Like I've been saying it for the longest. Like I don't think there's a bad fit for him because if you're drafting, you're pretty much he's like your glue guy. He's almost like a Desmond Bain-ish type player. Shooter, spot up, catch and shoot, get attack and close out. Works pretty well in the pick and roll. He worked well with Kaman. Not going to be a great defender, but I guess he could work well in the team aspect. So he's your typical glue guy. So yeah, I'm fine with that. And they need some of that. They don't need to keep shooting for high upside. They got LaMelo, you got Brandon Miller. At that point, you got to fill in the gaps.
I think that Khan has some higher upside than we may think, though. I think he's one of those false ceiling guys where we feel like because his floor is so good and he's not like a great athlete, like that, the ceiling may be lower than it is. He's not a great ball handler. I understand all that, but he may be like I think the ceiling could be like a lower level all-star type of guy.
Yeah, Desmond Bain, what he just said is pretty solid.
Yeah. If he gets if he becomes Desmond Bain, that's
good.
That's a decent third.
I used to think that I only like Khan Knuppel going into these like semi-playoff level ready teams, whether it's San Antonio's or Houston's or whatever. But I have kind of fallen in love with the idea of picking your glue guy. Anyone grabbing him, again, he can fit on any team, or a team who's bad, picking Khan Knuppel, knowing that next year you can try and look out on a Peterson, Debanza, or Boozer to be as your one going forward. So, again, I don't think any team really is, especially what we saw in the finals, is lacking or is not wanting a Khan Knuppel.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Trey Johnson. Bucket. I think he's the best shooter in the draft. Doesn't need much to get it off. Great at just like catching and shooting. Like I think that's at the baseline level. Like that's just enough to be a solid player in the league. With Utah and that offensive system, he should be able to get a lot of buckets. They still have to figure out things on the edges, but he's a great player. I wouldn't like do Ace Bailey. I'm not trying to deal with that right now. There's other players that probably could have thought, but like their front court is kind of loaded right now, so there's not a lot of minutes to go around there. Obviously, the guard rotation is a little iffy, but in this NBA, he probably slide, play 2-3, depending on what the lineup looks like. And you already know he's a bucket, doesn't really need the ball that much, so kind of fits in. And I think he probably work well under Will Hardy.
I like it. I've gone here before in the past. I like the pick.
I think Trey Johnson could be the best shooter in the NBA. It's really just about how much it is his.
Yeah, he could be a great scorer though. Obviously, elite scorer, great best shooter in the NBA. I feel like.
Bro, Stephen Curry's about to retire.
That sounded crazy, but I'm like, I got 3 years left. At that point, it's like when I talk like best shooters, I don't care about like the Cal Korver variants or like the Duncan Robinsons. I don't care about those. I don't really rank those because like they don't do a lot, but like the ones that like handle the ball and do things, get things off the dribble, I think he fits that mold. He probably be the best of the bunch.
Yeah, defense needs to improve. The rim finishing needs to improve. But his shooting might just be so nuclear that it doesn't matter pretty much early on. It just depends on what you think his role is going to be. I think he's like more like a secondary, tertiary option than a primary guy. The Jazz can get that next year though. Hopefully. Well, NBA's gonna give him AJ. It would be kind of like crazy not to.
That'd be ridiculous.
But 6th pick is Q.
Me.
I'm out.
Me. I honestly don't know if I really love my picks here. I'm gonna try and switch it up a little bit though. I think from what I've been doing here, we've done in the past, but with the 6th overall pick, the Washington Wizards will go with Derek Queen from Maryland. Again, I like him as a complementary piece. If you throw him at the 4 next to Alex Sarr, he provides more offensive versatility than Sarr does, obviously. And I think Sarr can help cover up the 5s defensively that Derek Queen cannot. Obviously, he already has that connection with Bub Carrington. He's in the DMV area, went to school out in Maryland. He's close by. I think he wants to be with the Wizards. The only issue I have here is I probably like Malawak better as a prospect, but I don't know if he fits as nicely next to Sarr as Queen does. So I think it's like if the board plays out like this, Washington has a couple decisions if they go point guard or if they go big. I think I was trying to maybe go Jeremiah Fears just for fun, but I like the fit of Derek Queen next to Alex Sarr, especially if Alex Sarr can kind of develop that offensive game a little bit more. They can have a 1-2 punch with their 2 bigs. But I think that having a big 4 next to Alex Sarr, again, you're getting a lot of young pieces at different positions. And at that point in time, if you could put a good coach around it, you have a bunch of different interesting lineups, I think, offensively and defensively with their creation and versatility. So
I think Malawak fits pretty nicely with Sarr because Sarr loves to play in the perimeter. He's not good at the big man things like screening and rolling.
I think they're both slow, though. They're both so slow.
Sarr's not slow.
I don't know.
And
what, you? Me or him?
But yeah, I think Sarr is because he likes to live on the perimeter. It can fit pretty nicely. And Sarr's a solid passer and stuff like that. He wants to play the 5, I guess, but
Queen.
No, I'm talking about Sarr.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't hate it. I think this is probably one of Queen's best landing spots because I think they contrast each other enough to where it works, and I think they can insulate each other on offense and in defense.
He's not exposed as defensively, so.
And it's homecoming. He gets to go back to the crib.
Exactly.
He gets to stay in his area. Queen is like one of the more polarizing prospects in the draft, just because that other side of the ball is just. Yeah, 5 man. It's hard to have a good team with good defense when your 5 man don't defend.
With the 7th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans are going to select Kaman Malawak. They did just select Yves Missy, who I liked him last year. I don't think he's going to be good enough to pass on Kaman. I think the Pelicans have been looking for a center for quite a while, and I think Kaman has a good chance to shoot the ball. He's a really good rim protector, really good rebounder, really good screener and roller. It may take a few years for him to really reach his full self, but I think his baseline is a productive player early on, even so because of the things he can do pretty well, and everything else like that is kind of like a cherry on top. I think he could fit nicely with Zion as well. As a screener, as a roller, as a rebounder, and someone that's played in a dunker spot because of how talented a passer that Zion is. So I'll watch 5 on my board. So getting him at 7, I think is a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I think the fit cool. Obviously he showed that. Obviously he has to prove it, but the jump shot looked nice. Obviously he can rim protect, play a little bit above the rim. Once they get a solid point guard, he'll be a lot better. But he's super raw prospect. Still has some learning to do, but his base level is going to be fine next to Zion, like you said. And he's not going to be under pressure right away to be like, this defensive demons, right away. You got time to develop. This for me.
Next, yep.
Yeah, you're right.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Ace Bailey. I think they're not gonna the Brooklyn. They're just not gonna pass on him. Between the reports of him wanting to stay close by in the area, most likely I was going to be Brooklyn or the Wizards, or Philly. But Philly not there no more. Plus he hasn't worked out for anything. But yeah, they're not going to pass on him. Super talent. They need talent on the roster. Obviously, he has the tools to be a great player. Whether he gets there or not, all depends on coaching. Jordan Pinez is a good coach. He's on a team where nobody's really going to stop him from chucking shots other than Cam Thomas because he's going to want to chuck shot too. Hopefully, he's able to scale that down a little bit. Get better around the edges. Stop taking a lot of silly shots. Coaching probably should get him into the right spaces to do what he's going to do. Defensively, obviously, he could be a good help defender. Tough shot maker. Can shoot the 3. Decent rebounder. Kind of crafty around the basket. He's got to be able to put it all together. And I don't want to say change his mindset, but he has to learn how to just take smarter shots.
Yeah, Ace hasn't done. His agent at least hasn't done great things for his PR heading up to the draft. I still think Ace can be a really good NBA player if he just simplifies his game. If a coach simplifies his game and uses him as an off-ball weapon and a secondary defender, he can be a pretty good role player. He'll just have to buy in, which I'm not very confident in him doing.
I think Brooklyn's most realistic situation, in my opinion, as far as just them needing anyone at this point in time. But I'm up with number 9. With the number 9 overall pick, I'm going with the Toronto Raptors selecting Kasparas Jakubonis. I've liked this fit for a little bit just for the simple fact that I think Kasparas' role would have to be very minimal. Again, I think it would just be passing and shooting. He doesn't need to be as big of a creator because you have Scotty, you have, I think, Quickly and RJ Barrett are obviously on their way out. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think a lot of people know that Toronto wants those contracts out of there. So there is a role in the backcourt to play alongside Scotty. And I think that Kasparas can fit that if he can develop with the 3-point in the passing game that I think he showed signs of in college for sure. I think that obviously with Scotty and BI, they need the ball in their hands in order to be effective. They're not really off-ball guys. I think Kasparas can still do stuff without the ball, pass, cut, come off screens if that jump shot can develop. And I think he could be a good complementary piece next to Scotty Barnes. I think that a lot of this is super dependent on who they trade. I think that at the same time, Malawak, Derek Queen, any big man, I think is potentially in position because Jakob Poeltl, again, is also in the trade block. But I think for Toronto, it's kind of best player available, whoever they like the most at the position. I like Kasparas Jakubonis as far as a fit, though, being the point guard of the future in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can play on and off the ball. He actually shot decently well from spot up 3. He's a really talented passer. He definitely turned the ball over a lot, but Toronto have other ball handlers where he don't have to have high usage. I think he just had way too much usage at Illinois. but I think in a secondary, tertiary role, he can be a pretty productive like secondary ball handler. So that's I like the pick though.
I just think his flaws will kind of be able to be hidden easier, and I think he'll be able to do what he can do. But
I'm really glad I got picked 10. With the 10th overall pick, the Suns are going to select Colin Murray Boyles. This team needs a center. I think he can play a small ball 5. Along with like also their big depth is just honestly terrible. I think he's the best player on the board, and I think they can use him in some really special ways as a dribble handoff partner with Devin Booker, a roller. Their defense is going to be awful, and I think he's the best defender in the draft. So getting the best defender in the draft that you possibly can is going to help a defense. It's probably going to be awful now that you have like a nucleus of 3 shooting guards that are not good defenders. So having an anchor like Colin Murray Bowles, also off the bench, Ryan Dunn, that can really help their defense. They're in desperate need of some more playmaking. I'm sorry?
Listen, they got Dylan Brooks too.
Oh, yeah, Dylan Brooks too, yeah. So, yep, they definitely need some more help defensively, and Colin Murray Bowles is going to help that. And they need a center. Obviously, he's not like a 7'2" lob threat rim protector. So they may reach him like a Sorber here, but I'm not necessarily saying it's a reach, but I definitely can see something like that happening. But Colin Murray Bowles at 10 to the Suns. I had it on Raptors still, but whatever.
Yeah, they're lucky they got that 10th pick because if he's on the board, they should take him. Instantly, it gives you a down low presence on defensive end. Obviously, you can do all the glue stuff. Could like you said, dribble handoff, things like that. With him, on the back line with somebody like Dylan Brooks out there, will make up for the deficiencies of a Jalen Green, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal if they're all 3 that's still there.
What are we doing? Pick 11, Q?
Who got 11?
You do.
Oh, Portland.
You.
No, I was saying what team had 11?
Oh, Portland.
With the 11th pick in that 2025 NBA draft, the Portland Trailblazers select Noah Senge. Athlete, has tools, good defensively, good at transition, good cutter, can finish at the rim. Think what's gonna determine how he sticks is how well he is able to shoot the ball. But everything else, pretty much good. And, he's young, has some size. Obviously, they're gonna not that they have like a lot of depth on the wing, but he slots right in. Even if like they get moved with Jamie Grant, that's a lot of minutes for him. He has time to develop. They have a decent players around him, so he doesn't have a lot of pressure early, but he's going to be able to do a lot of things that can help him out early. Like I said, the swing skill is going to be the shooting and how well that translates or develops.
Yeah, Shinge super productive in a grown man league. Hasn't played well in the finals so far, to my knowledge, but he's a raw toolsy wing that has grown exponentially in the last 18 months. The shot is looking better. The free throw percentage is looking better. He's a really good offensive rebounder, transition player, cutter. He's pretty much just like a utility player right now, and people are high on him because they think that he can continue to grow as a shooter, ball handler, put on weight, and just become like a Pascal Siakam type of guy. I don't know if I see that, but he'll be somewhere on my board. The Bulls are next up. Is that me?
Me.
Okay. Thank you. Cool.
At number 12, the Chicago Bulls will go with Thomas Sorber from Georgetown. I think Vooch is obviously on the way out. You need to replace that center position. And I think by getting a young defensive anchor in Thomas Sorber, obviously you're banking on the injury to be fine. But I think this is I think this seems like a Bulls pick to me. I just think they don't have anyone at that center position at all. You kind of have a couple intriguing pieces on the wing. Again, whatever you think of Josh Giddey, Patrick Williams, whoever, they're in this Kuminga and Moody rumors. I don't know. You have a glaring hole at the center position. I think Thomas Sorber gives him a very interesting defensive piece. Maybe try and put him in the pick and roll. But I think the only concern they really have with it at this point in time is the injury. But
yeah, I think Sorber is one of the best defenders in this draft class. He's a really good rim protector, really insane block rate and that type of stuff. I'm really concerned about the offense. He's not not a great athlete at all. He's really ground bound. So he's not the best roller. And I think he struggled at the rim, I believe, against top 50 competition. I think he shows signs that he's a good passer. He could probably be a solid face-up scorer from the mid-range area. He shot some threes as well. So it's more so flashes offensively, but I'm pretty confident where he would be defensively. I think he needs to lose some weight because he's 260 pounds. He could probably slim down a little bit to be a little more agile and mobile. So we'll see. But I like Thomas Sorber, especially to the Bulls when they need a center. With the 13th overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks are going to select Carter Bryant. This team needs a wing and a center, I believe, still. So they get the wing here. Carter Bryant is a really, really great defender, one of the best in the draft class. Can knock down a three. He's a good cutter and a good athlete in transition. His issue is that he really can't create for himself with others. He was a very low usage big. He shot threes, but not a lot. So he's really if he's going to be, it depends on where you're selecting him. I think 13 is cool, but I'm not expecting him to be offensive creator or anything like that. He needs to even get better at attacking the closeout, which will come in time. But having him and Zachary Ricochet as your wings going forward could be pretty special. I don't know. I guess he probably still be coming off the bench though, because I mean they got Jalen Johnson, but I think Carter Bryant's gonna be. He's almost for me a surefire good NBA player. That's valuable.
Does anyone else think like this just seems like an Igor Demon spot for no reason besides just vibes?
No, never felt like that in my life.
I feel like Igor Demon, like again, I don't know
what will happen or what we think should happen.
What I think will happen. I think like right around here is where someone's going to take a swing at him, and for some reason, I just feel like Atlanta. I don't know. I think that he might go right here to Atlanta for some reason, but. For nothing else besides vibes, like literally it's just the vibes. Right. Like Chicago or him or Atlanta take him for no reason.
Spurs are up.
Yep.
Q. We got Jeremiah Fears on the board. Igor Demon.
I'm cool. Chill out.
Okay. All right.
Ooh. This 14. With the 14th pick, the Spurs are going to select Neat Clifford.
I went with Neat last draft.
He does everything. Fills a stat sheet. Solid at pretty much. He's not great at anything, but I think he's solid at everything. Solid to good at everything. Fits in. Had time to develop, so he's going to come in pretty much pro ready. Usually that's how that go. Slots right in. Fits the timeline. So you got Harper. You would have Harper, Neat, Fox, Wemby, Castle, maybe. That's a decent core to go into, next couple of years with. To shoot the ball a little bit, can handle, can rebound, connected passer. I don't think there's a chance that he misses unless you mismanage him. But I think he should come in and be effective right away. Kind of like a J-Dub.
Like I said, last draft I picked him as well. I think this fit is very, very good. You get a good two-way, cheap wing that can develop with Wemby and Dylan Harper.
I don't like this thing he needs to develop. He's gonna come in pretty ready to play. I think.
It's not really. It's more.
I'm just saying age with them and get better with them. He's on the same timeline, like what Q said.
I mean, yeah, he'll be 24. In February. But I think he's the type of player that doesn't really have any weaknesses in his game. He can obviously improve and refine some parts of his game. But he also doesn't have an elite trait either. Really good rebounder, really good versatile shooter for the last 2 seasons. And he has equity in the mid-range area. So he has some real things that resemble like a star level player. It's that he's 24, played in a mid-major conference, so you're not gonna project that. But he's 3 years younger, he probably be at the top 5 picks, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Good pick.
I get my team at 15. I finally get to make the pick. Last draft, and I like the fit. I went with Liam McNeely last time when I had the Thunder's pick. A couple guys are off the board. I like the fit of his shooting ability, but I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna be a homer here. With 15, OKC is gonna go with Jace. The only thing that scares me that I've been saying this whole time is the 6-foot size. That's the only thing that scares me. But I think Jace will be able to contribute day one offensively and defensively, at least with intensity. He again wants to defend. He wants to play team basketball. And I think would fit perfectly on this team. The only thing that would really be super reliant on is his shooting ability. So again, in college, coming off screens, in different sets, Jace was able to shoot the ball very well, along with having play creation off the bench. So I think when coming to this team, obviously you have Topic, but you're able just to get another shooting, scoring, defensive piece that you can kind of plug and play, like Sam Presti has been doing now for the past 3 or 4 years.
I think it's gonna be tough to add another rookie to this team, especially like when I move like Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, because those guys are still good. Like Jason's not gonna get minutes on this team. They already have Popic. They didn't play next year probably. They also have what's bro name? Played pretty well when he played this year. AJ Mitchell. So it's gonna be tough, but I like the player though for sure.
Yeah, it's tough to play to draft for a team like that where like they don't have like a bunch of serious holes. Like the most you probably say is like more help in the center room, like center rotation. But it's like you got Ihart and Chet. It's like you're not really worried about that too much. Guard rotation, you're not really worried about that too much. Plus, you have a lottery pick from last year that still has yet to play. Could use some help on the wing, but not really. Like, it's a gift and a curse at the same time.
You 3 next? Oh, it's me. I'm next to 16. 16 for the Grizzlies. Who's on the board?
There's 2 guys. There's 3 dudes.
What do you got with their bench? They already got like
You got Pitts, Scotty, Gigi.
Got wings ish.
Jalen Wells is starting.
Backup guard is Scotty Pippen Jr. Who are wings? Wings are not great. It's not.
It's Wells.
Let's see.
Surprised you're not immediately going with this guy. I feel like you always pick him around here.
With the 16th overall pick, the Grizzlies are going to select Cedric Coward.
There you go.
I was thinking about Rasheed Fleming, but Cedric Coward is like the mystery player in this draft class. I do think he'll be a good shooter. He has great touch at the free throw line, in the mid range, and from 3 over the last 2 seasons. Did not play well against competition or a lot of games against competition as a mid-major player. But he has the length and athleticism to be a really talented defender. He was showing signs of improving as a passer and as a ball handler. His header was not really good at all. He's not a great athlete either. But I do think he can shoot it. He will be able to shoot it. And if his defense can be more of a reality than the idea, I think he's a solid defender, but he can be great with his measurables. It'll be a really good pick for the Memphis Grizzlies here at 16. So that's pretty much it.
I fully agree. Like I said, he was one of the 3 guys that I'd probably pick for this Grizzlies team. Kind of the same thing with like between them OKC. I'd probably go with a wing / forward. He fits the mold. Should be able to defend. Should be able to shoot a little bit, and that's pretty much what Memphis needs anyway.
All right. Now, Timberwolves at 17.
Just me. The 17th pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Nolan Troy.
Huh?
I'm taking Nolan. Yeah, I'm taking Nolan.
Timberwolves?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Switch it up. Gotta switch it up. Obviously need a point guard. The last point guard they picked is trash.
oh what? Yeah.
I think a pass the ball could get downhill. Shooting needs some work. He's not gonna have a lot of pressure. At least you can be able to work with Rudy in the pick and roll. Uh, Outlet to Ant. Still got Jaden McDaniels and you got Julius Randle. He has a lot of little outlets so he's not like gonna be super needed like heavily to be a great creator like early, but he has solid skills. He's fast too, speedy.
Yeah, Nolan is really quick, getting downhill. Not great at finishing at the rim. Doesn't have really like mid range. Not a great defender. Not a great shooter. He's not really great at anything at the moment. Outside of he's a pretty good passer. He's a pretty good passer. He had like a 41 assist percentage, really good assist turnover ratio. But everything outside of that, as far as like scoring and defense, I think is still very much a work in progress. Had an up and down year. Started the year off as like a top 5 guy because of his performance in the Adidas Next tournament. So Adidas Next Generation tournament. He kind of picked it up to end of the year, but I don't know. I mean, Jason off the board. I mean, I probably would have went like Walter Clayton. I feel like he's probably more pro ready for what they need because they are competing right now. They don't really have no time for.
I'm not as high as Walter Clayton as most. Like he's a great shooter. He's paying.
With the number 18, with the 18th overall pick, Washington's going to go with Jeremiah Fears here. I think at this point in time, it's too much value to leave on the board. I think at that point, like Washington does not have anything going for him right now. I know they went with Bub Carrington last year. I think you got to swing on Jeremiah Fears. If he falls this late in the draft, I don't think he actually will. But I think Washington has the ability to get Jeremiah, try and develop him alongside Queen, Sarr, Koulibaly. Who am I forgetting on the wing? Bub. Can't even think of it. But with other young pieces, again, you can try and take a swing on Jeremiah Fears. Showed inconsistencies of his efficiency at times, but I think Latif was saying on the last podcast, can shoot the 3 ball. I feel like when he wants to, but I think his creation, his deep 3 ball ability, I guess his deep 3 ball ability. But I think a good creator with the pieces around him, I think could be very, very good. But I think he's pretty polarizing as far as what his ceiling really is. I think that his development though is going to be essential to what he's going to be in the league.
I think Jeremiah Fears has an opportunity to be a star in this league. He definitely won't go this low. Just because of the fact that he's young, he has I think a borderline like elite handle. He gets to the paint whenever he wants to. Not good at finishing when he gets to the paint. But he gets there, he gets to the free throw line, and he knocks down his free throws. He has a really good mid range. The 3-point volume is just not as high as I would want it to be. But Jeremiah Fears, he's finished 53% at the rim. It was like lower in the half court against like competition. So it's like a really razor thin margin for error. The only players that like were top 5 picks that finished like as low as him at the rim was like Trae Young. And Trae Young is like, he was an elite shooter. So it's like, if you're not as a guard, you need to be. I think if you're not great at finishing the rim, which most smaller guards aren't, you need to be a great shooter. And Jeremiah Fears is not right now. So that's part of the game he got to work on. Needs to improve his decision making. Needs to improve on the defense end. It's just not great to build around small guards as your primary like scorers in this league anymore. So he won't slip this far on draft day, but I think this is again good value, like Max said, for the Wizards. They get Queen and Fears, 2 of the most polarizing prospects in this class for sure, especially amongst draft Twitter because a lot of people don't like these guys.
Hey man, Trae Young averaged 28 in college, bro.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Next,
Q's up. No, sorry, you are. My fault. Yeah, your pick.
All right, you got Ace Bailey with the first pick. Let's double it up with Jaeger Dimmons. Always stop.
Well,
Nah. Let's see on the board. There's some really good players on the board here.
because if he's there, they're probably gonna pick Jaeger also.
When you got 4 first-round picks, they could swing at that point, especially with 27.
I ain't saying he ain't.
Nah.
It's not crazy.
With the 19th overall pick, the Nets are going to select Noah Penda. They get another wing who can really defend, really pass as well. He does struggle to finish at the rim and the half court, and his shot is a question mark. But I think this team just needs good players, and I think Noah Penda will be a good player in this league as a slashing, defending, hopefully 3-point shooting wing. He can really put it all together. Still pretty young and produce in a really good. Well, not really good league, but like in a pro league or whatever. So yeah, Noah Penda at number 19 for the Nets.
Upside pick, got to swing.
I'm lying if I have a critique about this pick. I'm so casual on a lot of these international prospects.
This is 19 or this 20?
20.
Dang. The 20th pick that Miami Heat select Walter Clayton Jr. I literally was just talking. Literally said I wasn't that high on him, but
just said he didn't like him.
No, it's not I like him. I'm cool on Walter Clayton Jr. I'm cool. But anything at this point is better than Terry Rozier. Obviously, he can shoot the pill. I'm not scared. NBA ready. He's going to be able to come in and contribute right away.
Yeah, I think he's a combo guard. He can like pass. He can shoot the ball. He can really shoot. Not that bad defensively either, especially on the Florida team last year. That was a pretty good defensive team. They need somebody that can come in and contribute early, and I think he can be a lottery level value in this class. I like Walter Clayton Jr.
With the 21st overall pick, the Utah Jazz are going to go with Liam McNeely out of UConn. It seems like on this podcast, especially, I'm like the only one who believes in Liam. I think he could be a very, very good spot-up shooter in this league. I think he was mismanaged at UConn. I think that his ability to come off screens, especially if they get a guy like Trey Johnson, who necessarily is not going to be the best play creator in the world, if you can have guys being active, coming off screens, getting open for him, cutting at the basket, a guy like Liam McNeely who can kind of do it all on the offensive side as far as being a good complementary piece to whoever your number one is. Defensively, I think he's 6'7". Maybe that ends up working out. I don't think that his tools were really showing that he'd be a good defender. But I think if you're Utah, you can kind of figure that out later down the line with more pieces. I think, huh?
Who you pick?
Liam McNeely.
Oh, brother.
What?
He's out. That's not funny.
That's crazy because he played him on. You would have thought he would have been nice playing him from Mount Verde. Yeah.
Someone said it. He plays good with good players around him. And it's like, yeah, duh. But you put him on UConn. He's not a point guard.
Everybody left, and his stock plummeted.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would want a shooter like him to shoot better than he did. Again, we had this conversation. He was in a overtasked role. I just think his defense is going to be pretty bad. And I don't like specialists. They don't play in the playoffs. So, but hey, Jazz are far away from there, so who cares?
Exactly.
Is it me at 22 again? I think it is.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Carter Bryant at 22. I know I'm going to do at 20. I mean, we got him at 13. With the 22nd overall pick, the Hawks are going to select Rasheer Fleming. He's more like a forward, like a 4-5, a small ball 5. Really good athlete, can catch lobs, can finish dunks. He had like 40 dunks. He shot 39% from 3 this year. I don't know if that shooting is real because he wasn't a good three-point shooter in his first 2 years. The free throw percentage is also not good historically. But if those things are real, this is going to be a really good NBA player, as is someone that guys can just spot up, hit threes, dunk the ball. That's pretty much it. He cannot create for himself or others really well at all, but you have Trae Young for that. So I think Carter Bryant or Rasheer Fleming is pretty good haul. You get a wing and you get a more big depth in this draft. He has like a 6'9". He's 6'9" with a really long wingspan. So he probably can play the 4 and small ball 5. And he's be a really quality rotation player with the option to be a starter. Probably not on this team, but you just add in more like good depth to a Hawks team, in my opinion. So pretty good draft haul, if I do say so myself, for the Hawks in this mock.
He just can't dribble. But you got like a 7'5" wingspan. It's hard for you to dribble when your arms that long anyway. What this is the Pelicans. I'm gonna go. Damn. I'm going to go Jaeger Demon.
What?
Damn.
He's off the board.
Who? No, he's not.
He's definitely still here.
I'm saying
At this point, he could only maybe create out of pick and roll. He'd have two of those. He'd have two people to work with between Zion and Kaman. Shooting form looks good. Whether that he's able to actually shoot or not is still up in the air. Not a dynamic athlete. Doesn't have a dynamic handle. Can really only get to the rim, with assistance. But the role is super scaled down. He's not going to actually do much.
Really talented passer. Yeah. 6. I gotta stop. Really talented passer, 6'9".
Yo, he said, think about MJ. He works hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I understand. Nah, really talented passer, man. Hopefully,
draft dudes is crazy, man. Y'all be so arrogant.
I mean, he's a really talented passer, and hopefully the shot comes along. He needs to like tighten his handle, shoot better, get to the rim more, something like that, defend more. But he can make me look really stupid, to be honest. I mean, hey, I don't know everything, but personally, I don't know. 24 is
that was real humble of you.
Yeah,
I like that. Keep that same energy.
I don't know everything,
Me with OKC again. I'm gonna go with another pretty OKC pick, in my opinion.
How you get OKC again? Yo, this rigged.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even think about this, but I got both. I'm gonna go with another OKC pick, in my opinion. I'm gonna keep the Arkansas train going. I'm gonna go with Adu Thiero at 24. Okay. Again, I think that he shot 25% from 3 this year. I think the defensive versatility, obviously, can make other guys expendable. Super athletic. Again, played 3 years in school, so he's a little more experienced coming out. I think that you want to hope that 3 ball is going to develop more. Again, average 15 points a game, so he can score the basketball. It's just that with this team, I think we need a little more shooting for sure. So you hope that comes along. But defensively, I don't think he'll really miss many steps on this team. I think he'll be a good help on team defense. He's 6'8", and I think he'll be overall a pretty easy plug-and-play player to this team if need be.
Adu Thiero is the best athlete in this draft class. He's a really good defender as well. The 3-point shot, if he can actually shoot, he's gonna be like a top 10 player in this class. I'm not gonna lie, he probably will be.
I love dude. He cool. I think for OKC, I think you need that. Like I said, you kind of want to add more to the wing spot. Could defend, could shoot the ball, plug right in. I want to say it's a can't miss, but like there's no way like you could possibly fail. And it's like I'm not worried that he's not going to get minutes. I think he would play over
Jace
Jones.
I'm saying I picked Jace at 14. You think he play over Jace because he's
he definitely play over Jace because
he's ready.
Jace on offense obviously is better than what Kaysen gives you on offense, but Kaysen is valuable because he's going to defend, defend, and that's your Dort replacement. So you should see heavy minutes come up in like the next 2 years at least, especially after next year because they're going to have to decide whether they want to pay him or not after next year anyway. So you're gonna have to get a lot more reps.
All right, we had 25 with the Magic as my pick. The team needs more shooting. Let's see who's on the board. Not that many great shooters.
Kobe Bryant, man. Kobe Bryant.
Ooh, let me look.
Cool off these shooters, man.
Where did he shoot from 3? I forgot.
Who?
I literally had his. I literally. Oof, not high enough for what I want. With the 25th overall pick, the Magic are going to select Cam Jones. He was much higher on big boards earlier in the year, but he is a player that does not turn the ball over. He finishes really well at the rim. He had a down shooting year relative to his standards so far in college, but I think he's going to be able to shoot it, be like a backup point guard, a really good backup point guard. Doesn't turn the ball over, attacks the rim, kind of like that TJ McConnell type. And this team needs more shooting and more like guard play off the bench. So I think Cam Jones at 25, maybe a reach for some, but I like it for the Magic.
No, I don't necessarily think it's a reach per se. With he's ready to play right now. Obviously, he gives you pretty much backup, spark plug type potential, and that's what you're looking for at the back end of the draft. You're not always gonna hit on the underrated prospect that could become an all-star. I think you just need to plug and play guys at this point, especially on better teams. If you're picking this late, you need somebody that's gonna fill in, and he fills in. Damn, Brooklyn Nets again.
Yep. Next 2 picks are the Brooklyn Nets.
26 pick, we're gonna go Arsenal.
That's who I was gonna go with.
Good pick. Especially the spot. That's a good pick. He was really productive as a freshman. Maybe get underrated, to be honest. He was really productive as a freshman. You look at like some of his stats, and a lot of players will go higher than that. I just think he's like a tweener. You don't know he can't play the 5. And his shot needs to work for him to be like a valuable player, because he's not the great like putting the ball on the floor, like passing, pretty much that type of stuff.
Yeah, he's relegated to like basically trying to be a play finisher at this point. But you're on a team that you just need talent. He's gonna have time to develop. They're not gonna be competing, next year. So,
with 27, I think they need a big man, but I also think this guy will probably be off the board by now. Brooklyn's going to go with Danny Wolf. Again, I don't love the prospect. I think he'll be a first-round guy either way. I just think he'll be off the board at this point in time. I'm not super a big fan of many of the bigs left on the board, but I think you're going to start crowding that wing position if you go with anyone else. So I think they'll go with a big sometime if they keep all 4 picks in this draft. It's just a matter of when. But again, I think a lot of people have issues with Danny Wolf. Latif, I know your biggest issue is the turnovers. I'm not worried about that because of his role at Michigan, being the primary creator and the primary.
If he's not the primary creator in lineups, do you think he's like a good screener, good roller, good rim protector?
I think he could be good in the pick and roll. I think that his offensive game is like obviously like with post moves. I think he wants to get brought out. He wants to be out in the perimeter and kind of making moves, whether it's in the pick and roll or with the basketball in his hands. It's just a matter of what Brooklyn's going to run. I think he could be effective as an offensive player, but I think defensively he'll be a cone. I don't think that he'll do much defensively in the slightest.
He'll get interest in Brooklyn basketball. He'll sell. Like not like he's box office or anything like that, but like people will be intrigued to watch Danny Wolf. Like he's
people buying season tickets to watch.
He's like fake flashy. Like he's like Tyrese Halliburton no look. Like it's a no look, but he looked at it. Like he does a flashy pass, but then like you forget about the turnovers like that he did like twice before that and then twice after that. But it's like cool. He's like a poor man's. It's a bonus.
No,
he's not as good as a rebounder, and obviously you can't make him the hub of your offense, but he has some of those skills.
With the 28th, is my pick, right?
Yep.
Damn, I wanted Boston. Go ahead. Though.
With the 28th overall pick, the Celtics are going to select Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Okay.
To get another big in there. He is an electric. He's not electric, but he's like a really elite defensive player. Really good shot blocker, really good rim protector. Really good paint finisher as well. Shows signs of being able to shoot the ball this year on like limited attempts. I think he shot 30%. But the touch around the rim is pretty nice as well. I think he has a chance to be a really senior NBA player, at least play like 10 years in the league as a rotational big, maybe as a starter in some places. Cal Brenner has been good for a long time. He has been productive since he's got to Creighton. So that's pretty much the sale for him. I think getting him at 28 is a pretty good spot for the Celtics. I got him at 20 on my board. So yeah.
Yeah, this is like I think should be a chalk pick at around this spot. He could have came out 3 different times. Like this is just a moment that he decided to come, but falling to the Celtics is not a bad thing at all. Literally move off KP. You have another big. Should be fun. Plus the pick that they get next year, they'll have a nice little young core to go ahead with once Jason Tatum come back. Phoenix. Yeah. Let me scroll down. Let me see who's left.
You got some young talent here.
One guy will definitely be off the board for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I don't need to scroll no more. 29th pick. Son's gonna select Maxime or not. I ain't gonna think twice about it.
I think Maxime is a talented offensive player. Can dribble, can pass, can shoot. The defense, I'm very concerned about. And you kind of want to hope his offense translates.
I got CMB already. I can hold
I thought he's going to select like Drake Powell. They don't really have any like.
But
and he's really young, and he's maybe he's more young talent. Maxime is like kind of older. A lot of people like him though. I've seen somebody had him in the top 10. Some people have him in the lottery. A lot.
We're banking on him being able to get that 3-point going and be like a 3-and-D big, Brook Lopez type.
Not 3-D.
The defense is not there. I'm saying the defense is not there at all, but that's what the people I feel like you got to hope for.
All right. 30 pick is Max.
Last pick. I'm showing my Big Ten bias this video for sure, but I'm going to go with Will Riley. I think super, super young. I think that he poses a lot of upside, though, on the offensive side of the ball. Some games where he just went nuclear this year. Could shoot the 3-ball, could get downhill, showed traits of really being a talented offensive player. I think that his 3-point shooting especially will be good. He's got to put some more weight on. But I think that Will Riley, especially on a team like LA, could learn a lot. But they don't have many young pieces in general. So developing a guy like Will Riley, I think, could be good. I
probably would have went Ben Saraf. They need another ball handler.
I think you can adjust that in free agency.
Blue guys, filling guys. They don't have another ball handler when James Harden's not there. But can never have too much shoot. Well, let me not say that. You can have too much shooting.
Yeah, I probably would have took Drake Powell here. Again,
I think those two are my 2 last options. I wanted Powell or I wanted.
I think a pretty solid mock draft, especially at the beginning. Not too many gripes or anything here. I think it was a good turnout. That's gonna be our last mock draft of the cycle. On Wednesday, we may do a live stream depending on how many people we think we can get in here. I don't want to be in here just talking to ourselves, but I would love to do live reactions to picks and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. And do like winners and losers, grading every pick right after it. So stay tuned for that, man. Comment on any pick we made, anything you liked, anything you disliked. Follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen. And that's going to do it for our NBA mock drafts of this cycle. 2025 was much better than 2024 in terms of entertainment and intrigue. So I appreciate this cycle. This is one of the ones where I was really locked in. Next year, we're going to go even crazier. So that's it. Love y'all. We out.